Hi, Ryan Steinelson here with Business Trends TV, where we interview the trending businesses that are out there, the ones that are setting the trends in their respective niches and their service industries. And right now, today, I have with me Gregory Tendrich, and Greg is a securities fraud attorney, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about what he does. But he's very ahead of the curve in terms of not only his knowledge base, but also in terms of the years of experience that he has, and also the amount of casework that he's done. And I just wanted to bring Greg on the show today because he's got a lot of great information that he's going to give you today, so that if you are in a situation where you have a stock fraud situation or any other type of situation, you'll know you'll have some answers. And Greg, how you doing?
Fine, Ryan. How you doing? Thank you.
Doing awesome. Maybe tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you're at and what you do.
Sure. Ryan, I have a practice that's devoted to securities litigation. I've been in Boca Raton now for about 10 years. I spent 10 years as an in-house lawyer representing major stock brokerage firms and wirehouses. And about 10 years ago, I decided to open up my own practice representing investors and stockbrokers with regulatory matters. It's a very specialized practice and one that we're very proud of, given my background and experience.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of experience, and it's a very specialized niche. There's not many, I don't think many attorneys that deal in that specific niche out there. Are there a lot of attorneys that do what you do, or is it?
No, I mean, it is a very specialized field, and there are a limited number of lawyers around the country that handle these types of cases. Okay. I think investors should be aware, however, that they should look for those attorneys that have a background similar to mine, where they have a background representing brokerage firms as well as investors who have been aggrieved by their stockbrokers.
Who are your typical clients, Greg?
Well, it's interesting. There is no real typical client in a securities case. Anybody can be defrauded by their stockbroker or financial advisor. I've represented minors who have had brokerage accounts, that have had trustees that have opened up those accounts, and a financial advisor has done them wrong. I've represented the elderly investors for various reasons, have opened up a brokerage account and again have been swindled by their stockbroker. Okay. Widows, individuals like yourself, Ryan. All of these cases, anybody can be my client, if you will, if a financial advisor or stockbroker has done them wrong. And I'm sure your follow-up question will be,
sounds like your phone's going off like mine is.
It is. Why would somebody have a claim versus somebody else?
Right.
And, all of these cases come down to, did the financial advisor make a recommendation or put you in an investment that was suitable for you, that was what you wanted, that was something that you told him that you needed, or satisfied your goals and desires, if you will. If it didn't, then you may have a claim.
Okay. So really, I think what I'm hearing is that you've represented people along the entire spectrum of people that are out there. I mean, it spans from young adults to elderly adults. It just really, what you're saying, I think, is that it depends on the case. And really what you're looking for, it's really better to look at the actual situation, the case itself, because ultimately what you're looking for is just a situation where a securities representative or broker has ill-advised that person, whether they're young or old.
That's exactly right. And it can be, anybody can be defrauded by their stockbroker or financial advisor. And again, my review of a case is a lot different than other lawyers out there. Having represented brokerage firms and stockbrokers in the past, My analysis is a lot different than maybe a lawyer who has not had the ability to represent those individuals in the past. I want to make perfectly sure that the individual that I represent has, almost at the beginning, an ironclad case. And we review documents when that individual comes in. We talk to our clients and we find out exactly what their goals, their objectives, and their discussions were with their financial advisor and stockbroker. And if we feel at the end of the day, after looking at the documents and those discussions, that there has been some harm to them, we will go ahead and take that case and pursue a claim on their behalf. Not everybody has a case.
Okay, so that was my next question, is how does somebody know if they have a case against their stockbroker? And what you're saying is that it's on a case-by-case basis. It's just, it's kind of, there's a litmus test, it sounds like, that you use, that where it's more of a general litmus test that if you've been ill-advised. But is there any other specifics that
absolutely. I mean, there are certainly warning signs that somebody should be aware of, or things that may crop up during their relationship which would alert them that they may have a possible claim. For instance, if they notice on their account statements that there's a lot of trading activity that they didn't approve, that may be an indication that something's going on with my account, and maybe I should speak to my financial advisor, and maybe I should speak to a lawyer. If your broker or representative is making these promises to you that he or she cannot keep, that may be a warning sign to you. If they're not returning your phone calls when you call them, possibly that's a sign that there are some issues that may be going on. And if you have an investment that suddenly loses a lot of its value, that may be a warning sign. That may not be necessarily the only reason to pursue that claim, but if it drops dramatically and you thought you were in an investment that was safe and secure, again, that's a warning sign. So there are a lot of warning signs that people should be aware of, that they should look for, and if they have any questions, we offer a free consultation. They could certainly call us up and we can answer their questions. Okay,
so that's good to know. Some people probably think, maybe they think that there's no reason to call because it's going to be expensive or whatever. So you're saying call and ask the questions, and it sounds like that it's not just, there are specific red flags that you would look at in order to determine if they have a case, if the person has a case against their financial advisor. So that's
exactly right. And on the point of the free consultation, Ryan, we traditionally work on a contingency fee basis. So if there is no recovery on behalf of my client, I don't get paid. And that's a risk that we're willing to take on behalf of the client. So that's why our analysis early on is thorough, and we want to take the strongest cases, ones that we feel that the client has been wronged and that there's a likelihood of success.
Okay, so what you're saying is that because of the fact that you're in essence sharing in the risk with the client, in that you're only going to get paid when and if the case is settled, either through arbitration or mediation or whatever, then basically that's the only time that you're going to get paid. So there is a risk sharing. So obviously you're not going to take on a case unless you feel absolutely secure in the fact that it's going to lead to an outcome that's going to be positive for both parties, I guess, obviously. So you yeah.
That's exactly right. The clients do pay the cost of moving forward, and each case is different in terms of how much that ultimately will cost. But arbitration, again, is the less costlier of the forums to pursue a claim. And typically, a client, if they're going to pursue an arbitration claim, will have a filing fee and some incidental costs along the way that they're required to pay. And but at the end of the day, I do not get paid unless we make a recovery on behalf of that client.
Okay. And what's the typical filing fees, etc.? Can you give us some idea of what
a typical case, depending on the size of the claim, FINRA has a schedule of fees that they have for all cases. But a client will typically look at a filing fee of anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 to $1,800, and along the way you're probably looking at maybe $2,500 of additional cost, if you will, But every case, again, is different. We may need to hire an expert witness to come in and do some analysis of an account and tell us exactly what went wrong. There are costs associated with that. But again, every case is different, and it really depends on the circumstances and the size of the claim.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you and learn, get more information from you, or set up a consultation with you, how would they best get a hold of you, Greg?
Well, they can always visit our website, or they can call us through our telephone number, which is on our website.
Yep.
And again, we offer a free consultation, and anybody can call at any time, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that they have.
Yeah, your website's right below you in that bottom third there, so I'm purposefully keeping the camera on you right now. And Greg, it's been awesome. Is there any final words of wisdom that you want to leave people with before we sign off here?
Well, I just would tell everybody, if you have any question whatsoever regarding your investments, there are good qualified lawyers out there to answer your questions. And if you're not getting the answers from your stockbroker or financial advisor, you should certainly contact a lawyer, and we could investigate those claims and see if there's anything that we can do on their behalf. Okay.
Great, awesome, Greg. I appreciate the time that you've given us today, and we're gonna post this video to your website, and so that people can get access to these questions. I'm sure you probably get a lot of these questions a lot, so it'll be nice to be able to send somebody to a video where they get all their questions answered before they meet with you. But we'll do this again maybe in a couple months. Okay. And thanks for your time, and let's talk again soon. Okay.
Okay, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.